Hi, today we'll be taking the 5 main decks from Vanguard VG-V-BT08. Right, so we have Oracle Think Tank featuring Susanoo, Kagero featuring Dragonic Overlord the Cross, also from Kagero, Dragonic Blademaster, Soen, and from Dimension Police we have Grandgallop, and Link Joker we have Messiah build. Alright, let's start with Susanoo from Oracle Think Tank. Right, so this is our ace unit, Susanoo. So when it enters the Vanguard circle, look at top 2 from your deck, review up to one of them, put it at the top of the deck, and put the rest back to the bottom deck. Right, so you get to arrange your deck upon entering the Vanguard circle, and activate once per turn, counterblast 1 soul plus 1, review 2 cards from top of the deck, add them to hand, and activate all the trigger effect. And if you have a great trade in soul, look at 3 instead of 2. Right, so not only you get to manipulate your top deck, you get to trigger more than 2 times in a turn. Right, which is very, very strong. Next, we have Amaterasu. Right, so auto from the deck. If you get reviewed by card effect, bind the top of your deck, and during this turn your Vanguard get power plus 10k, critical plus 1. And as a Vanguard and Rearguard, when attacking, discard 1 card from hand, look at 3 cards from top of your deck, review up to 1 normal unit, add it to hand, and put the rest back to the dot in any sequence. Right, so definitely a 4. So not only help you manipulate, you also give extra power to your Vanguard, and it works as a Vanguard and Rearguard at the same time. A very strong unit that can be splashed in any Oracle Think Tank deck. Alright, next let's go to grade 2. First of all, we have Better Sister Shuket. It's a common from BT03. So enter the field soul plus 1, look at top 5, review up to 1 grade 3, put it at top of the deck, and the rest shuffle back to bottom deck, and during this turn this unit get plus 5000. So it works very well with Amaterasu. But due to the cost, we decided to reduce it to 2 copies. Next, we have Promise Daughter. So the main reason it's inside basically is because first of all it's a 15k attacker, and it cannot be retired by open the card effect, which is pretty important in the current meta. We have the recently revealed Kuroi Kazuchi. So activate once per turn, soul plus 1, discard 1 card from hand, review the top of your deck, add it to your hand, and activate all the trigger effect of the cards reviewed. If you review a normal unit during this turn, this unit get power plus 6000. Right, so it's a mini Susanoo. We're going for 3. You can actually reduce to 2 if you want. Next, we have Ichikishima. Similar to Amaterasu, when reviewed from the top of the deck, bind the top deck, choose one Vanguard power plus 10,000, and when it enters the Vanguard circle, look at the top of the deck, put it back to the top or bottom. After that, review the top of the deck, and if it's a normal unit, this unit get power plus 10,000. Right, so not only help us review the deck, also when it's reviewed, you can actually get a bonus 10,000. Next we have Muto. So enter the field, counter plus 1, return 1 normal unit back to the top of your deck, and if you do so, during this turn, this unit get power 15,000. So you get to recycle your units that you need, like Amaterasu, or you can just manipulate Amaterasu and Ichikishima back to the top of the deck. Next, as you can see, there's a lot of cost, counter blast and soul blast. We decided to add 2 Gemini inside. So activate, if your damage 3 or more, send to soul and counter charge 1. So you increase your soul and your counter blast. Next, as you can see, we're playing 12 crit. So Tetra Magus is actually very useful. You can just play 2 copies will do because you need to do it once. Right, so I'm playing 3 at the moment. I feel that 4 is a bit overkill. Next, we have the grade 3 searcher. Enter the field like a top 5, add 1 grade 3 to hand. And if you do so, discard 1 card from hand. And during this turn, if you use any of your abilities to reveal the top of your deck, this unit get power plus 5000, 4 copies of it. Next, we are playing 12 crit since mainly we're playing Protect 1, so for Sentinel we do not have any issues. And since we are manipulating the top of the deck, I feel that more crit will be a lot more useful in this build. Alright, during the previous testing, we took out 2 of the cards. One is the Tia. So Soul Blasting 2 grade 3 is a bit impossible in this deck, as you can see that a lot of the cost requires Soul Blast. So this is not viable. It still works in Tsukuyomi though. Next is another new unit, Yachimata Hiko. When attacking, if you have 5 or more cards in hand, counter plus 1, reveal the top of the deck, and if it's a unit, during this battle, opponent cannot use the same unit type as what is revealed. So if you reveal a trigger unit, your opponent can use trigger to guard. If you reveal a normal unit, your opponent can use normal unit to guard. It's pretty strong, but the issue is the power for this unit is actually very small. So it requires Susanoo to have a lot of checking of trigger adding into this unit to make it work. Alright, so in terms of efficiency, we decide to change it back to Promise Daughter and Better Sister. Alright, so this is for Susanoo. Right, next we'll take a look at Dragonic Overlord, the cross. Alright, so this unit, once per turn you can Soul Blast 1, and from your deck choose a unit with a different name with Overlord in name, put it into Soul, shuffle the deck, and during this turn this card gain the name and the ability of the unit. So if I were to put DN into Soul, this unit will be considered as DN, and I gain all the ability. Not only that, continuous, when you are checking the amount of cards in your hand, it's treated as 0. And if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 and above, this unit's drive check cannot be 0 and below. Right, so you cannot reduce the drive to 0, so minimum will be 1. So the best pairing for this card will be DN, so you get to restand twice. Twin drive, single drive, so total of 4 drive in a turn. Right, just like the previous from G era, the previous era, these are like a Legion pair that works well together. Right, this is actually the only combination that actually works. The grade won't really work because you don't have any way to look for the search for the grade 2. And the original grade 3, the cost is a bit too high. It's more suitable for as a rear guard. Right, next let's take a look at the grade 2s. So first of all, we have the exclusive boost for the end. Take card. You can actually remove this as the cost is a bit high. But since the cross is treated as the end using the skill, right, we decide to play 3. I was thinking of reducing it to 2 instead. Next, we have the new unit. So once per turn, counterblast 1, put a normal unit back to the bottom of the deck and choose a opponent's grid and below rear guard, retire it, and if you have 4 or less hand, draw 1. Right, first of all, you get to return your ammo back to deck, like the end. Next, you get to retire opponent, and for this deck, most of the time you have 4 or less hand, so you get to draw 1. Right, a lot of purpose, a lot of action for a double R. Right, definitely 4 copies. Next, we have the exclusive card for the cross. So when enter the field, look at top 7, search for 1 Dragonic Overlord the cross, add it to hand, shuffle the deck. And when your Vanguard attacks and you have 4 or less cards in hand, during this turn, this unit get power plus 5000. And just a reminder for these 2 units, when you have the cross as a Vanguard, your hand is cost 0. So you definitely draw 1. Yeah, and this unit definitely get power plus 5000. Next, since our Vanguard we are planning for a constant restand of Vanguard, so you can actually go for Force 1 and have Dragonic Gaius to boost for the extra critical, or you can just go for Force 2 for a 3 critical base. Take note, it's just for 1 battle, but there's additional pressure on it. If you have declared, yeah, your opponent have to guard it, and they have to throw 2 or more cards from hand. Next, we have Lava Flow. Since we already have searchers such as the Ignite Road, I feel that there's not really a need to play a full 4 copies, but depend on the player. Some of you all prefer to be more consistent, you can go for 4 copies instead. So you can reduce 2 of the Gaius and just play 4 copies of this. And we have another unit that works well with any of the Overlord. So enter the field, discard 1 card from hand, draw 1. That's for Vanguard. And after boosting a grade 3, if the boosted unit restand, stand this unit. So boost, restand, attack and restand. Right, so you have constant power, additional 8000, which is good. Next we have the usual Elmo for the 11,000, or you don't really need the counter charge since the counter blast is actually quite minimal. And we have Sable, so if you were to ride it for your first rank attack, you get, and it hits, you get to draw 1. Right, they are basically for the draw. And as for the trigger, we are playing 5 draws, and the rest are crit and heal. Pretty standard. And while building this deck, there was 2 other cards that was in consideration. First of all, we have Berserk Dragon, which was taking the slot of the card. Alright, because this is more versatile, and if I were to ride it, I can actually draw 1. And as an attacker, it's a 13k attacker, which is pretty useful. And the other unit we have Burnout to help us recycle the end or any other puzzle piece back to the bottom deck and retire 1 opponent. Alright, so these 2 were in consideration, but we took it out after a few test play. Right, so this is our current the cross. Right, next we'll take a look at Blademaster Soen. Right, as you can see, we are only playing the new Blademaster Soen. Right, so during your turn, if your opponent don't have any rear guard, and this unit, all your vision token get power plus 10,000. Activate once per turn, discard 2 cards from hand, call 1 vision token onto rear guard circle, retire at the end of turn, and if you have the both Wyvern Strike, the grade 2 and the grade 1, 2 of them. On the field, you get to retire all your opponent's rear guard. Right. is pretty much zero cost, since vision token can twin drive, and there's another twin drive here, so you didn't lose anything, right? So there's no reason for us to play the old Blademaster anymore, since that unit needs a lot more requirement to call a vision token, right? So this is a lot more stable. Next, in this deck there's almost zero counterblast and soul blasting. Almost zero, it's not zero, so we decided to play the order card. So counterblast 3, soul blast 3, draw 3 unit in your front row, get power plus 10,000. Very simple. So with the vision token, this thing will be 33,000 base without adding the force markers. Right, next we have another new unit from this set. During your turn, if your opponent do not have any rear guard, which is pretty easy now, this unit get power plus 5,000. Enter the field, look at top 5, reveal up to one of either of the wyverns, add it to your hand and shuffle the deck. Very simple. Right, and just introduce this during the Dragonic Overlord deck. Right, as I said, this thing can be splashed in any Kagero deck, as it serves a lot of purpose and do a lot of things, multi-purpose unit. Next, the two main unit in this deck. Right, since this is not a requirement to call a vision token anymore, you can actually reduce them if you want. It's not must to play 4/4 anymore. You can actually go for 2/2 or less. And another new unit. Enter the field, soul blast 1. Return any amount of either of these wyvern. Back to deck, shuffle, and for each card return during this turn, this unit get power plus 5,000. Alright, it's very situational, so we go for one copy. Next, the usual we have Arrow and Dragonic. So since we are going to bomb the opponent's field anyway, we might as well use unit that actually give us additional hand. And Elmo, since get power plus 3,000 during the boosted battle, so 11,000 boost, and unit for draw. Alright, this deck definitely lava flow. We are currently playing 3 since the draw power is strong enough, and I haven't faced any issue of misgrading or grade 3. But to be safe, you can actually go for one more copy of this and reduce one of Dragonic. Right, as a trigger, you can see 6 draw, 6 crit. Right, pretty simple. This deck is actually very scary when you are playing against it if you are using Excel clan. Right, so we have our upgraded Blademaster. Alright, next we'll take a look at Dimension Pulleys, Grandgallop build. I have to be honest, this is one of the only deck in this set that give me a lot of headache when building. Alright, so we have Grandgallop. So unlike the normal Dimension Pulleys that requires the power level to be above a certain number, this unit requires the amount of critical. Right, so when attacking, according to the amount of critical this unit have, it activates the following effect, and they're stackable. So if there are 2 or more, all rear guard in the front row get power plus 5,000. 3 or more, all the rear guards in the front row get power plus 10,000, which means a total of 15,000. If there are 4 or more, they get critical plus 1. And next, activate counter plus 1. During this turn, this unit get critical plus 1. Alright, so in order for it to meet the maximum potential, you need to play force 2 and counter plus 1 each turn to get at least 3 critical. And you will need is support Grandbover to give additional 1 critical, or you can use other grade 1s that give critical, which doesn't work very well. Right, there's a few other ways I'll explain in a while. And the issue is because the power only gives the rear guard, so this thing is pretty small, and most of the support units requires your Vanguard to have a certain power level, which it doesn't go well. Alright, but there's only one way to solve this issue. We'll go to that later. Next, the secondary grade 3, it doesn't go well with Dayusha, Great Dayusha, or any other unit. So the only way we can go for this is either we go for Miracle Beauty for multiple attack, or we went for Shieldbud. If your Vanguard have power 30,000 and above, this unit get power plus 5,000, critical plus 1, and with this effect is power plus 20,000, which is at least 33,000 attacker with at least 2 crit. Alright, so if you do not write this, you are in big trouble. Right, it's an all-in deck. Next, as I said, the rear guards are for the attacking, so we actually have the new vanilla 12k attacker with 0 shield. You can actually change this to the 10,000 vanilla with 10,000 shield instead for the defense. Die Dumper. As a Vanguard, your grade 3 unit gets shield plus 10,000, which means if I were to be stuck with this, I can actually discard it as a Guardian with 10,000 shield. And as a rear guard, when attacking, I get power plus 10,000. And if I do that, end of battle, retire this unit. As I said, yeah, strong power attack. Next, Grand Boba. Enter the field, counter plus 1, soul plus 1. During this turn, this unit get power plus 10,000. If you have the specific Grandgallop on your Vanguard circle, draw 1, and your Vanguard get critical plus 1. Right, so this is the only way for you to go beyond 4 critical. At least for this deck. Next, we have Go Biker. Enter the field, rest this unit. Give your Vanguard power plus 10,000. And if it's a grade 3, stand this unit. So enter field, rest, plus 10,000, we stand. Very simple. Since it's enter the field effect, we go for 3 copies. Alright, this is a proxy. This is the only way for this deck to work. This is Twin Order. It's a grade 1. And the effect is very simple. When boosting a unit, that unit get power plus 10,000 for the amount of force marker on your field until end of turn. Alright, so if there's 2 force marker, when boosting, this thing is 33,000 base, right, before we add the force marker, etc. This is the only way to make this deck work. Right, we tested a few other methods. It's inconsistent, and this is the only way. Right, since we haven't been able to join any shop tournament due to the virus, I have to use proxy for the moment. Right, next we have Dice Cooper. If you roll upon this unit, look at top 7, add up to 1 grade 3 to hand and shuffle the deck. And as a rear guard, enter the field during this turn. One of your grade 3 Vanguard get power plus 5,000. Very simple. Free grade 3 searcher if you manage to ride it. And our usual grade 3 searcher. If you have grade 3 or above unit on the field, this unit get power plus 5,000. Very simple. And we went for 6 draw, 6 crit, and 4 heal. Very simple. As one of the main issue with this deck is the amount of hand size. Alright, so while building this deck, there was a few other ideas we came up with. One will be using of Commander Laurel. So by resting 4 units, we get to double the power and add 1 critical to Gallop, which means it will become a base 26,000 and 2 critical before we do any other calculation. And after that, we played the new option card, the new order card, and you get to unlock one circle and stand the rear guard on the circle. So after I rest 4, I play this and restand my unit and draw 1. And since the unit in the front row get additional power, originally we added this so that when your Vanguard attack, this unit, and it's 30,000 above, you can counter +1 and restand this. So you become Grandgallop with multiple attack, but the efficiency was very low and it filled a lot of time. So we decided to just go for the simple build, but our main issue is still with the twin order. Alright, so that's for Grandgallop. Alright, last but not least, we have our Link Joker Messiah build. Right, this deck to me is one of the most consistent in this set. So as you can see, we took away the old Messiah and decided to just go with the Alter Ego and activate once per turn, Soul Blast 1, call up to a total of 2 different cards from your drop zone onto separate rearguard circle in lock. So I can just drop, call back. So even if you were to attack my rearguard, or I can Soul Blast and just call it back onto the field as lock. And the second effect, when attacking, I can unlock any amount of cards on the field. And during this turn, all the unlocked unit get power plus 10,000. Alright, very simple. Next, we'll go take a look at the grade 4. Alright, so you cannot write this card, and when it enters a rearguard circle, retire this unit. So basically, you cannot just call it. So one way is by using Alter Ego, call it as lock, and unlock it. So it's not considered as call. Next, after battle of attacking a Vanguard, lock this unit. During this turn, one of your unit get power plus 10,000. Very simple. And we have the order card. So the basic combo is Alter Ego, lock this on the field, using the new order card, unlock it, attack, lock it, and when Messiah attacks, unlock it again. So you have multiple attack using this grade 4. If you manage to have 2 on the field, it'll be pretty deadly. And one way is you can call it on the rearguard circle, retire it by its own effect, and use Messiah to call it back onto the field. Next, you can actually go for 4 copies if you want. So we have the Burst Monk. When unlock, counter plus 1, reveal top of the deck, add it to hand. If it's a grade 3, you may discard 2 cards from hand and restand your Vanguard. So if this works, so 1 attack, 2 attack, 3 attack, lock it again, because your Vanguard is 10 when Vanguard attack, yeah. So you can actually go for 6 attack or more in 1 turn. You can go for 4 copies, but the consistency is not there. So, and there are ways for me to pull it back using Alter Ego. So we decided to just go for 3. There's no reason to go for 4 at this moment. And we have Blast Monk. When attacking a Vanguard, counter plus 1. Bind one of your opponent's rearguard in face down, and if you chose a grade 2 and above, you can soul charge 1. Right, so you get more ammo for Alter Ego. Right, our new unit, Lady Fencer. So when attacking, if you have a Vanguard Messiah in name, during this battle, this unit get power plus 5,000. After the battle, lock it. So attack plus 5,000, 15,000, lock, alter ego attack, unlock, and you can do it again. Right, pretty simple this whole deck. Next we play back some old cards. This is optional, you can actually don't play it, but every time you place a lock card or you lock your own card during this turn, this unit get about plus 5,000. And as you can see, we can lock like at least 2 to 3 times in a turn. So this is actually a 23,000 boost, which is very, very big. And this new unit, when unlocked, draw 1. Very simple. And cards with the same name can only activate once per turn. Next we have Destiny Dealer. Enter the field, lock your top deck. So if you manage to lock the grade 4, this is 30,000. So during grade 1 you already have a 30,000 rear guard. Yeah, that's the ideal. The usual grade 3 searcher. If either player's bind zone or circle have any face down card, this unit get power plus 5,000. Right, which is pretty easy. You just need to bind any of them or lock any of your unit. This unit will be 13,000 boost. And for trigger is the regular trigger. Right, so that's all. This deck didn't have much of changes since the start. The only difference is maybe the amount of cards. And at the start when we debate whether to play the original Messiah with this unit or not. Right, so that's all for Link Joker, and that's our introduction for the 5 main decks. We may be doing some of the sub decks like Dimension Robot and Tsukuyomi, etc. But that will depend. And we'll be doing some of the test play with these decks, so look forward to it. Right, see you again.